Sweet. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Wednesday weekly recovery coaching call. My name is Omar Pinto. Welcome to all. And each week, we help someone that is struggling with something, or we help guide them in any way we can towards an objective or a goal. And today, I'd love to check in with Jeannine, because I haven't talked to Jeannine in a while, and I would love to get an update on how you've been, and then anything that you're struggling with that I would love to help you with.
Okay. Doing well, kind of same old, same old. I am living sort of in the past and the future about a potential job opportunity still.
Mm-hmm.
So that interview they promised me in October finally occurred last week. So that's good. But I don't know. Who knows when I'll hear. And I've started doing the AA program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it. I feel lucky to have found the group I found in particular. But I'm also, I'm struggling with sort of a regimented, like, I guess what they would say is the disease of alcoholism trying to trick me into believing that I can have a few drinks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is not headed down some really slippery slope of total destruction.
Okay, so I guess the best question would be to ask you, what do you believe about that statement?
I believe I probably could, because so what is today? But by their count, today is day 39. Before that, I had one slip up and I had 31 days. So if you add all that together, sorry, the answer to the question. I believe that I could probably have only a few drinks, but or have a week of vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Here, these very anxiety provoking sometimes to not have work to fill my time, because I do struggle with boredom, and drinking was certainly a way out of that. Staring at the wall became interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe I could, but where would that lead eventually? And would I use it as an excuse to just, okay, well, now back to, let's do it, let's weekends, or, now back to, okay, only on tough days. Oh, okay. And back to, and just, I've definitely seen the progression. It's always been more and more, and it's always been worse and worse. So as a good lawyer, I look at the evidence and try to break the rules.
Right. Is there evidence supporting the other side? So you're basically,
Right.
you're not the plaintiff, you're the defense.
Yes. So I would point to that one slip up and say, look, you had 31 days, you slipped up, it didn't get out of control, and you got right back on, and now you're at 39 days. So, but that's not very convincing.
Well, the thing is this. If we don't discuss it, it gets really, really big in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked you, what is it that you believe? Because I want to take this giant elephant and turn it into, a little tiny cat. Right? So as long as I carry it by myself, as long as I carry it alone, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And at some point, it takes up the whole room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this one thought that keeps coming up that goes, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And just by me asking you the question, what you believe, you started doing the work all by yourself. You started answering all the questions all by yourself. Well, it's probably a slippery slope, and I know where this leads, and I know it's happened before. And right now, after you've kind of allowed yourself, given yourself, I gave you some space, we gave you some space. Inside of you, what is it that you feel like after saying everything that you just said, expressing yourself? What does it feel like inside of you?
Well, my next thought is that I'm not satisfied yet. Um, I guess the fact that I had to reason my way through this, or not reason, I'm really kind of just feeling. Unknown caller. It's upsetting that I don't like. I know lots of people in AA are they just don't have the desire anymore. They don't have to have this exercise. And I'm told, it'll get better, it'll get easier. I just started some version of step 4 where you list a bunch of people and places and things that you have had resentments toward, and I don't know what comes after that part. But I'm told that after this step, it gets easier, and that, but of course, I want all that on a time frame. And if it's a disease, then I want the medication, and I want to be told in 3 to 6 weeks that I'll be feeling better. And all of that, yesterday. And that's the same problem of, wanting the instant gratification.
So again, I'm going to ask the question. What's the most uncomfortable part of all of this, of everything you've just described? What's the most uncomfortable part?
The fact that I have to ask the questions and have the internal debate and the struggle.
The questions.
And I think people's promises, like, I don't know really whether I trust people. I'm hearing a whole bunch of other people saying how their lives are easier, how they don't struggle with this problem, how they don't even want the alcohol. And I guess I'm jealous. And they tell them, hold on, don't quit before the miracle. It'll happen for you. Don't worry. Oh.
Well, first of all, here's some good news. Has anyone else felt this way, the way Jeannine's feeling right now? Okay, so that's everybody, right? So here's, like, I want you to just sit with this for a moment. That, first of all, you're being way too hard on yourself. That's number one. Okay. So has anyone here on this call ever been too hard on themselves? Okay. So, I mean, it's like, let's just go mirror to mirror, right? I'm being too hard on myself. And so that in and of itself is just thoughts and feelings, thoughts and feelings, thoughts and feelings. When we just break it down to the most basic fundamental structure, the only thing we're talking about is thoughts and feelings. There's nothing else. There is absolutely nothing else. Do I have a bed to sleep on? Do I have food to eat? Do I have clothes to wear? Do I have a job to go to? I'll just go down the list of, like, am I safe? What is the fear? And the only thing I'm struggling with is thoughts and feelings. So here's the thoughts and feelings. Why am I still having these thoughts? Why am I still questioning this? Why am I struggling so much? Why isn't it getting easier for me? So Again, thoughts and feelings, thoughts and feelings, thoughts and feelings. So I'll throw this out to the group. Am I missing anything, guys? Is it something else other than thoughts and feelings? Am I missing something? Doesn't look like I'm missing anything. So here's the beautiful thing about being on these calls, being in recovery, and being surrounded by people that have been struggling their whole lives too. There is no difference. Zero difference. It's thoughts and feelings, thoughts and feelings, thoughts and feelings, thoughts and feelings. We don't have a drinking problem. We have a feeling problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm far enough along. I don't feel like I'm a good enough mother. I don't feel like I'm a good enough wife. I don't feel like I'm a good enough employee. I don't feel like I'm a, I don't feel. So the question is, the only thing we have to do is, now that we've recognized what we don't want to feel, all we have to do is ask better questions. What is it that I'm trying to feel? Because you're trying to feel something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now that we're clear, thoughts and feelings, I don't want to feel like a disappointment. I don't want to feel like this is going to take the rest of my life. I don't want to feel like whatever. So, Jeannine, tell us, how do you want to feel?
Peaceful and
Yeah.
interested. Like I'm just struggling with a lot of boredom
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and a lack of creativity, right? Because I guess somebody put it to me this way. I never really thought about it. You know, when you quit drinking, you have all this time.
Mm-hmm. Tons.
And I also I'm part-time at my current job that I hate because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it for 8 hours a day. But yeah, why can't I come up with, and when I do try to come up with something like, oh, maybe cooking, I enjoy cooking. Okay. And then it's like, oh no, that would just be take so much effort.
Okay. All right. So really, it's this void.
Mm,
It's this lack of creativity and imagination.
mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I know it's like,
Right.
oh my God, really? Creative lack of creativity and imagination. Now, if we think, let's think about, how old's your daughter?
6.
Okay. And is she just like a big ball of love and joy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Does anyone here on this call remember what it was like to feel love and joy? Okay. And is it a desirable state?
Yes.
Okay. Who doesn't on this call remember what it feels like to feel love and joy? Everybody remembers. And was it when you were like, was it a year ago? Was it 10 years ago? Was it 20 years ago? How many years ago was it that you felt love and joy? Let's go. Hold on. Samantha, how many years ago?
I have found in my recovery, I feel joy on and off all the time. It hasn't been more than maybe even a couple of days or yesterday. It's just moments though. You know, it comes and goes.
Give me
I
an example of a moment.
Yeah, so I have 2 dogs. I take them to the dog park and I walk around and just like the sun shining on my face and I'm in the moment and it's beautiful. Fresh morning air. You know, sometimes in my alone time or when I just get done writing a poem and then I read it to myself out loud. You know, things like that just really bring me like joy and peace and serenity and wholeness. Absolutely. There's lots of crappy times too, but I try to pay attention to those moments of joy so I could hold on to those, get me to the next moment of joy.
Peace, wholeness. That's a big one. Wholeness is big. Carrie, can you give us an example of when when was the last time you felt love and joy?
Today, I'm kind of like similar to what Samantha said. I mean, it's not always. I've had my frustrations today as well, but I went for a 7-mile run with my dog and found peace there. And then me and my youngest son went and dropped off a couple of presents, one to my niece because we're not going to see her, and then another to a close family that we're not going to see over the holidays. So yeah, that was great.
Okay.
So it's not always, like yesterday was a hard day. I was up and down all day. I'm sure there was something. I ran yesterday too. That usually makes me happy. So I can usually find joy somewhere in the day, but it's not always. Just moments.
I'm going to come back to you.
Great.
Note to self. All right. So Leo, love and joy. When was the last time?
Oof. Okay, well, yeah, love is not my forte, and you know that.
That's why I'm
Smashing me
asking.
on the rocks three frickin' shows in a row. You dirty bastard, you know that, right? I do
That's how I
love
roll.
myself, though. I do
I
love
know.
myself. It's taken a long time to get there. I'm not a couple guy. I was telling somebody earlier today, I'm not a couple guy. I'm not a relationship guy because I barely got a relationship with myself, but it's a good one now. And coming out of the last one, see, these rooms are so cool because there's no judgment in here, man. There's just love from other folks in here because they get it. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets it, and everybody wants the same thing. So I got to tell you, man, I really enjoy, and I'm not just an ass because I don't do that. I really enjoy what this venue has brought for me, what these folks have brought for me, and the relations that I have here, because this keeps me sober. This keeps me sober, and it helps me keep others sober. You know what? I'm a damn good coach now. I'm not great. I'm not Omar Pinto, but I'm a damn good coach now.
I'm not Leo either, because Leo's taken and Omar's taken, right? So we're great in our own right. You know what that means? What's bringing you joy is human connection and authenticity.
See, I knew that, but I was just waiting for you to say that.
All right, Tori, let's talk about love and joy.
Love and joy. Probably yesterday when I was picking out which Nerf gun I was going to buy my 5-year-old nephew and what Nerf guns we were going to, shoot each other with on Christmas.
So this was for your nephew?
Yeah.
So what brought you joy was thinking about bringing joy to your nephew.
Yes.
A lot of clues here. A lot of clues here. What about you, Steph?
I can't remember the last time I felt loved. I feel joy every time I play with my kitty.
So are you folks following a theme here? What's the common thread here?
Getting outside yourself.
Number one, getting outside yourself. Getting outside the house. Okay? Pets. There is a big correlation between pets and love and joy. Do you know why that is?
Unconditional.
Yes. You know what a 6-year-old is?
Mine's definitely unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
Yeah.
And so here's what's happening. Animals are only love and joy. That's all they are. There's nothing else. Animals, they have no other purpose. You come home, the dog's excited to see you. You leave for 5 minutes, you come back, just as excited to see you. Okay, I thought you were never, ever, ever, ever coming back. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're home. They are representation of what our natural state of being is. That is our natural state of being, love and joy. Why do I drink alcohol? Why do I smoke weed? Why do I do drugs? Why do I eat 12 donuts? What am I trying to feel? I'm trying to feel love and joy. And so if we think about animals and children, they are love and joy, unconditional love and joy, and they get fucked up as soon as they hit the teen years or before. Okay? Now all of a sudden I need Nikes, and so-and-so's got that bag, and Omar's got the Apple Watch, and why does he have the 12, and I've got the 7, and I hate my job, and why did we move to this state? We should have stayed where we were at. What? And little by little, all we've lost it. We've lost our perspective. We've lost our purpose. And so here I am trying to piece together, I don't know, these people talk about being happy, joyous, and free. They're a bunch of liars. I hate this. I'm miserable, blah, blah, blah. Really, I am trying to find love and joy. And when I don't find it, I move on to the next thing. And when I don't find it there, I move on to the next thing. And when I don't find it there, I drink. Because ultimately, I'm trying to fulfill this need. We are all trying to fulfill this need. And when I go to my job and then I come home and then I hang out with my mom and then I hang out and I just move from one place to the next and I can't find love and joy, then I just want to numb the fuck out. Because the pain of like, is this all there is? Is this all there is? Is too painful sober. So this is why even me, right? Well, I will push, okay? Like, it's like, well, I can't just like, leave my job. I can't just quit. I can't just like, leave my husband. I can't leave my wife. I can't just, and I'm like, why not? Put some TNT in there. Just blow everything to smithereens and start over, because guess what happens every time you drink? You're basically lighting a long fuse. That's all you're doing. Every time you drink or use, you are lighting the proverbial long fuse, and you have no idea when you're going to blow up your job, blow up your marriage, blow up your relationship with your kids, whatever. It's really, you're already heading there anyway. All I have to do is change my focus. It's like, what was the question? How do you want to feel? That was it. That was the only question. How do you want to feel? Because everything else is irrelevant. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. Doesn't matter where you live. The question is, how do you want to feel? Peaceful, interested, creative. Happy, joyous, and free. It's a cliche, but it's the truth.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because I guess in early sobriety, or where my flashes of my thoughts are, is that the drink is a break,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you don't see it as the stepping stone to disaster.
Mm-hmm.
You see it as a break
Mm-hmm.
from misery.
Think about what you just said.
I mean, I'm exaggerating, but like, yeah, there's moments I just, was like, oh man, same old crappy life. I just want to break, escape.
Same old crappy life.
Which it's not. I mean, that's what people are saying. Like, yes, of course, it's true. I'm in this meeting experiencing love and joy. Yes, every time I talk to my daughter, almost every single interaction is love and joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So this is the practice of number one, recognizing that what we seek, what we want to experience above all else is love and joy, because that's our essence, our truest essence born into this world. We didn't come out grumpy and pessimistic and full of self-doubt. We just didn't. You got kids walking around in their diapers, okay, strutting their stuff, okay, throwing toys, having fun, making noise. They don't care. They're not worried about their little bellies. They're not worried about they're only wearing a diaper.
Mm-hmm.
They're not concerned with what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
They're only concerned with love and joy. What do we do next? What do we play? And so the idea is, as you listen to this call, you recognize that there's moments of absolute bliss and love and joy if we choose to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to give you strength. So all I need is enough strength and enough energy to figure out how to find love and joy in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in a job and I'm in a career that I'm not happy, that doesn't provide happiness for me and fulfillment, then I just need to breathe and go, what's my next step towards the job, the career, whatever, that's going to bring me happiness and joy.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a series of stepping stones. Leaving this place and going to this place could give me enough relief in the interim. And then from here, I can decide what I'm going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
But the timeline is another thing you mentioned too. I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. Oh my God, I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
So there's all this pressure that we put on ourselves that's not real.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist, because guess what? Whether you like it or not, there's nothing you can do about it. So focusing on it is just yet another distraction that prevents us from taking action. And we've got a gazillion distractions preventing us from taking action. Okay, so that was a lot. Loving yourself is the hardest thing to do sometimes still, but it's a lot better without booze and pills. So, and it's true. And a lot of times we're just afraid to love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're afraid to love ourselves because we're afraid of disappointing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute that you let off the gas, the minute that you allow yourself to feel joy, to feel love, to appreciate yourself, the fear comes in.
Mm-hmm.
What if I fuck this up? What if I get too comfortable? What if I get complacent? What if something goes wrong? I can't get my hopes up.
Mm-hmm.
We prevent ourselves. Like, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm just afraid to get comfortable. I'm afraid to let off the gas. I'm afraid to feel happiness and joy and fulfillment and love and excitement and be in a couple and have a relationship, because I might fail.
Mm-hmm.
And if I fail, I'm going to feel disappointed. Now, if I feel disappointed, I might drink. It's all, this is all just thoughts and feelings, folks. Thoughts and there's nothing in here that's real.
Yeah.
And so once you recognize that what we're talking about here is thoughts and feelings, and I'm talking myself out of actually enjoying things that bring me joy because I'm afraid of failing and feeling disappointed in failure, I go into a feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? I drink. Is any of this making sense, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody following along here? Stop the feedback loop. Okay? Somebody's got a hand up. Go, Leo.
Sorry, I was just agreeing with you, Omar. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That was like a hand clap.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's enough for right now. That was like, okay, just a lot land. Jeannine, give me your feedback. Like, you received a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
What is your body allowing you, your body and your mind allowing you to process from this information?
I'm had a lot of thoughts about applying that now to another area of my life. The relationship, like what Leo was saying, I really do think, my relationship with myself is messed up. And there's a real disjunction when you, like when I come into this group and I feel the love and joy and the immediate connection with anybody, and what I'm learning in my other group, like complete strangers, I can have a better, more honest, more interesting conversation with anyone than I can with the people that, like my husband, and that's a little scary. That that relationship, at least right now, does not bring me love and joy, and that I sit here and I'm bored, and my thought is not like, hey, I should ask my husband what he wants to do. My thought is, when's the next meeting? And I think the same thing that what you were talking about with the stepping stones of, really evaluating where you are and trying to use that to get to a different place if you need to and when you need to with the appropriate strategy and timing. And so I kind of have to accept where I am right now in early sobriety. I need to know that my barometer is kind of messed up right now. And I need to evaluate that relationship at a different time. And in the meantime, just be thankful, I guess, that there is love and joy and connection I can experience somewhere.
As you start to move in that direction, where you're constantly focusing on the areas that bring you love and joy,
Mm-hmm.
there is the law of attraction that starts to take effect.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you focus on, it will manifest.
Mm-hmm.
So what you will find is that it could just be that at some point you could find some love and joy
Mm-hmm.
even in your current marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you're not allowing yourself to
Mm-hmm.
because of a lot of limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
What if I let him down? What if I disappoint him? What if I disappoint myself? What if this what if this doesn't work out? What if I'm just setting him up? What if there's all this stuff that's thoughts and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I have to move away from those and I have to get into action.
Mm-hmm.
And the action right here, right now is, where can I find the love and joy in everything that I'm doing, even the things I hate?
Mm-hmm.
Where can I find the love and joy in that so that I can get to a place where the only thing I'm focusing on is love and joy?
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what happens? My barometer shifts from negative, pessimistic, hopeless, fear-based, doom,
Mm-hmm.
to love and joy, happiness, fulfillment. And next thing you know, guess what happens? I get a phone call. Hey, listen, Jeannine, I know you've been looking for work. This just came up. I have a friend, so-and-so. Why don't you give them a call?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that.
Mm.
Has that ever happened to anyone? When you change your focus, all of a sudden, these opportunities that we never even imagined they just present themselves.
Yeah.
All right, Jeannine, any questions?
No,
Thanks for stepping up.
my pleasure.
Okay, good. It's so good to see you. I love when you smile. You have
Yeah,
this amazing, beautiful smile. You light up a room. So I love seeing it.
thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, Carrie.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about what happened yesterday.
Well, that I had a terrible dream. I woke up yesterday morning and had a dream that I wasn't drinking, but my choice drink is Chardonnay. That I was working. I had a daycare that I closed right after COVID, that I was working in my daycare and people were putting glasses of Chardonnay all over. And I'm like, why is this here? I don't understand why it's here. And it just turned into this complete nightmare where the police were chasing me and my husband was trying to send me to jail. It was just like this awful, awful dream. So
Nightmare.
basically, it was a nightmare. So when I woke up, and a couple people that are in the group have already heard this, but the night before I was in a meeting and I said, oh, I'm doing so good and staying in the present, I felt like, oh my God, I totally jinxed myself. And this dream took me back to, just being worried. And it didn't make me want to drink. It made me very emotional. Yesterday, I was just extremely emotional all day, like up and downs. And I cried to my husband and he's like, don't cry, you're doing so good. I'm like, but this is how I feel. So Jeannine, one thing I do, if I can just comment on like something you said to like your husband, like we are getting much better at talking because he doesn't, a dream wouldn't affect my husband. Or he would say it doesn't, I don't know. But like he brushes those kind of things off and he will say he totally doesn't understand. But now he's at least listening and he'll say, I wouldn't feel that way about it, but I understand that you do. So we're making some progress with things like that because so basically, Omar, I was just a roller coaster and it was like a lot of little things too. It was like if it, just one of those days, if it could go wrong, it kind of did. So every time I got, happy something, and it was like really minor. It was like really stupid stuff. Like I couldn't get on the meeting on my, like at the end of the day, I was just looking forward to getting on the meeting and my thing just kept circling and circling. And then it was stuff that if I didn't feel like that would have not bothered me.
So it's interesting, but it's kind of like what I was mentioning before. There is we have such amazing power. We have incredible powers that we don't even recognize or realize. But the minute we start focusing on something, we just start to create things. Just, like if I start my day off, like you said, like this morning, you went for a run with the dog, right? And it's just been like, it's kind of snowballed in a positive way.
Right.
So all it takes is just one minor deviation in either direction. Unfortunately, when it's negative, it has a much more, it has more weight. Mm-hmm. So negative to positive, most of the time, if I'm in a negative state, it's much more difficult to get into a positive state. But if I'm in a positive state, it doesn't take much to put me into a negative state. And well, let's just see. Can anyone else relate to that? So it's not as simple as just like, okay, well, I just had a negative. I'm just going to focus on positive. I'm just going to focus on positive, right? I have to recognize that negative emotions outweigh positive emotions. I don't know why. Okay. That I don't know. I just know that when I'm in a bad mood, it's a lot more difficult to get in a good mood than when I'm in a good mood. Something happens, and it pushes me.
Go. I'm at a meeting.
Oh, do we have gift boxes?
Sorry, 17-year-old. I'm talking in a meeting, please.
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. And I don't know if I would say hate is easier than love. I would probably just say that hate and anger is just a heavier emotion, and once it's present, it will suck you in. Right? And so the idea is to recognize as quickly as possible what this, like, if you take anything away from this particular coaching call, it's that what we're battling against is thoughts and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right.
And if I can consciously sit and go, this is a thought and this is a feeling. And I can even take my phone and I can set a timer for 1 minute, say even 2 minutes, and just go, okay, identify the negative feeling: anger, bitterness, resentment, fear, overwhelm, anxiety. Set my watch for 1 minute and just sit with that. Sit with it, okay? I'm just going to sit with this anger. Why are you here? That wasn't even a minute and it felt long, okay? We don't realize how long a minute is, but a negative emotion will filter through in under a minute if I sit with it. If I fight with it, it stays. I will carry it with me. And then my barometer will send me into the next negative experience, because that's what I'm feeling. So the body automatically, if I hold on to that negativity, it's like a compass. Oh, negativity. Yeah, let's just move her into another negative, right? Because that's what she's looking for, right? And so how's this settling in for you, Carrie?
No, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So really, when we talk about being mindful, that's all mindful is. It's complete ownership and awareness of my thoughts and feelings, and the truth and the reality that I can choose to change them at any time. And more importantly, if you sit with it for 60 seconds, it'll just flow through you. Okay? It might even come through tears, right? But ultimately, there's feelings underneath that are positive. All I got to do is push them through. All right. Also, let's see. That's why I like taking deep breaths. And there's the other thing. The breath, it's a reset. It's 3 deep breaths, in, out. There's no way you're feeling the same after that. No way. It's not possible. Okay. Feedback. Anyone? Carrie, what's your feedback on this?
No, I think it's very good advice, and learning how to stop instead of just keep going. I tend to stay in motion instead of sit and take the 3 breaths or meditate or something that could help me get over that and get rid of it. But I do, like I said yesterday, I did tell my husband, and I was crying, and I did feel way better after I did. I said, I need to get this out, and I did. So it helped.
Oh, so then you spoke to your husband,
Mm-hmm.
processed it through tears,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a positive emotion that came after.
Right.
Okay. There you go. Okay, case closed, guys. That was the evidence I needed. It happens every time. It's not a one-time thing. It's an every time. I just have to let it go through you. It's like when that whole term, when they say, let that shit go, it's like for real, because it's all shit. Just let it go. All right. Who's got Who's got some feedback? Jessica, were you going to say something? I feel like Jessica wants to say something.
Sorry, I was late. I had to work the day job. Fun.
No worries.
Oh no, I was just sort of like running around trying to take deep breaths after a horrible day of work. But no. Well, I guess I can. It's very fitting. I came on late, but just as I was coming on, this was like perfect for me because I have I guess officially now the news today and stuff, like my father's dying. So I had a hard day today. I've been really trying to be strong for my mom, and I was like, okay, like either this is going to roll into like a week long, like I just give up and do that type of thing, or am I going to like cry it out? Like think of my father saying, come on, Jess, like really, like, and I went down to the lake because I grew up in Vermont where he is. And I like just sat by the water because I grew up on a boat with them. And so I just remembered, I just like took like 20 minutes and just remembered all the little trips and all that good stuff. So yeah, and I did. I was like, there's no way I'm going to get out of this today. For some reason, I usually don't cry. I can usually bounce back. And I was like, oh no, if I can't bounce back like I normally do. It did take me a couple hours, but how deep the pain is right now, like that's to be smiling now. I've like come through. So like, that's a win for me for not like totally just going and just like freaking out and just being woe is me. So thank you. That was great timing.
So I'd love, let's work through that. Cause that's a great, this is a wonderful example because, you know, what you're going through is like the most of, as far as examples go, this is at the top, right?
Yeah.
Like this is of as far as going through negative, allowing yourself to process the negative emotions in a time like this, right? Is a testament to the fact that it works no matter what.
True.
So, you know, you're trying to keep it together and you go down to the lake. And what happened at the lake?
I cried.
Yeah.
I let myself cry.
Yeah. What came through? What came through you?
Just, yeah, it really was like a full body experience, like not to sound cheesy, but yeah, it was selfish sadness that can't be there for me when I need him to like be on the Jess #1 fan club. And and just like, but then I tried to remember all, like he's 82 and to have so many wonderful years with a wonderful man, and having been in all these groups recently and hearing these really sad stuff about dads that weren't there, mothers are just growing up in addiction, which I didn't have. I mean, they weren't perfect, but Jesus Christ, excuse my language, but he was pretty damn perfect dad. And I think before I left, I came to peace with, because sometimes I think of myself like my dad, like we've got such big hearts, like, is it worth having a big heart? Because it can suck. But I remember being in college, I was a swimmer on the college swim team, and we had a meet in upstate New York where I went to college, and there was huge flooding the day of my big meet. And it usually takes 3 hours to visit or to come to my school from where my dad was at the time. And it took him 6.5 hours going the long way, going around road closing. He shows up after the meet's well over, and I'm still kind of waiting. It was like, just like the cell phone thing was a little newer. And he goes, of course I'm going to be here, Jessica. I told you I would show up, and I'm going to be here for you. And I was like, I just was overcome with emotion. I'm like, not many people would do that for me or anybody. He literally could have turned right around and I wouldn't even thought twice about it. Like, oh my God, the roads are all flooding. I was shocked. It was like, that is like probably the epiphany of the man this person is. So it was like, wow. So I'm going to be here for my mom now, my family, and I'm going to do what he did. Even if I get hurt, I'll be there. You know? So anyway, that's something I would do too. So I guess
I'm trying not to cry right now.
Now it's a little emotional. It's raw. Like, and I was adopted. So I'm like, how did I get to his heart? You know?
Oh man, you're killing me here.
Sorry.
Like a Hallmark moment.
Yeah, like a Hallmark Christmas movie, but not a good one. Not a good
No,
one.
it's a great one. It's a
Who knows?
great one because we started this whole, you missed the first part of the call, which
Right.
was about love and joy.
Mm-hmm.
That was what you just described was love and joy. That's what you just described. That
Mhm.
who your father is to you is love and joy, and you're going to carry that legacy through.
For others. And hey, I've already been, yeah. Hey, just keep going because the right people will appreciate it and the wrong people aren't supposed to be with you anyway, is what my father would say. So I'm trying. It's so hard.
You're not trying, you're doing.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
doing well done. That was like, I'm so glad I called on you.
Yeah. I'm glad I jumped on.
Yeah, it's
Right.
that love and joy. Even in the most difficult of times, if there was ever a doubt that you could feel love and joy no matter what, Jessica is a clear example of honoring truth.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to die. We are
Mhm.
all going to suffer. We are all going to struggle. We are all going to feel pain. But in the end, there is always moments of love and joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't have, that's the duality of the world we live in. One does not exist without the other. It's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
you choose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
and
as simple as that.
yeah, he walked me through the recovery road when he didn't even know what heroin was. So the poor guy left 5 years ago. So God love him. So it's fitting. I'm in a good place to be able to handle this, and because of him. So it's funny how things come full circle. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right. So I'm curious. Kim, was there something? I feel like Kim had something to say.
No, I was just really just gave me goosebumps hearing about your dad. What a beautiful thing to have in your heart forever. Yeah, I'm just getting a lot listening actually.
Thank you. It's true.
So good. So good. All right. So who haven't we heard from? We haven't heard from Samantha, Edwin, Tree Life. Chris just joined in. Go ahead,
I
Samantha.
can
Yes,
give you an update,
please.
at least from last week. It has been sign after sign after sign and a lot of aha moments this week. So, actually, I have to admit, after leaving the meeting and thinking and reflecting back on it, I started feeling really insecure that the things that I said were out there in the world for the world to hear. And I was just, I was starting to feel a little embarrassed and a little shameful. And there's just kind of this moment of realization hit me over the head that, like, when I listen to these podcasts and when I listen to other people and the more vulnerable they are, and, it really helps me. And so I just kind of had this moment of like, I just hope at least that whatever I said last week really resonated and helped anybody. And if it helped one person, then I'm happy to have it out there. And that helped me work through a lot of things. And even, so it was kind of about my, being angry with my dad, and also feeling responsible and helpless to do anything, but like I should have been able to. How that even portrays in my or reflects itself in my relationships today, that like not being able to speak out and say things when I want to, and seeing people as authority figures. And it came to this realization that, like, it's all in my head, and it's the way that I'm perceiving things. Like, my husband's not trying to be a controlling guy. He's not trying to tell me what to do. He's not telling me not to go look for another job. His opinions are more of like, do it responsibly, right? Like, make sure you're not just like screwing off and getting fired or whatever. And that, there is a household to take care of. So when he says it, though, I filter it through my
trauma and and turn it into like somebody telling me I can't do something, or someone trying to suppress me, or and I end up doing that to myself. And so some of the things even the other folks said, I kind of noted this down here. When triggered, or when I'm not feeling like I'm worth anything, when I feel isolated because I keep things to myself and I'm thinking about them but not sharing them with anyone, that is what makes me feel to this day still like I want to drink. And I don't always recognize that I'm holding something in. My brain is just so good about blocking stuff. So
Sneaky.
yeah, it is. So I have to sit with myself and oftentimes pray. Even when I'm like, I don't know if I'm blocked from feeling joy or feeling love, but I even don't know why, I just pray. Yeah. I have a very short prayer that I say that it kind of comes from the big book. That's just remove my fear and replace it with what you'll have me be instead.
Oh, I like that.
And I get this cathartic, laughing, crying, weird thing that comes over me when, depending on how strong my fear is or my insecurity. And so I just want to put that out there and say, yes, I've got some tabs up looking for a new job. One that I want and one that I feel drawn to, not one that I think will look good or that will be approved of by anybody else. And I'm not thinking too far ahead about it either. I need to get my resume updated and just do it one step at a time. And so that's my update. And and the weight of negativity versus positivity. I was just thinking about that this morning. And those feelings are just so much heavier. And I think it's because I get so scared when I feel it. And I'm like, no, this is going to be forever. Where's my joy? Where's my love? Where's my hope? So it adds weight to it. But yeah, I put a poem in the chats too that just reminds me about this, that we can just kind of like, we just have to allow these feelings and like acknowledge they're there and they're there for a reason. I've heard you say this before, they're here to guide us, and we don't have to add any more weight than to just say, like, yeah, I'm feeling a little depressed, and you know what that means? I need to just give myself a break. I'm feeling angry, and you know what? Maybe I should dance it out. And and just like sit with it, not become it, but sit with it until it's ready to go, and we'll move on to that next feeling and enjoy that one while it's there too. So that's it for me.
You can simply just ask it what it's here to show me. What are you here to show me? I know you're here to show me something. And
Yep.
Samantha, I've had there's two people that were like, after they shared here, oh my God, this is out for other people to hear, right? Probably two of the most impactful coaching calls I've done, because we went so intense and so invasive and so vulnerable. But it's what brought you here. It's listening to the podcast and listening to these incredibly vulnerable stories. They're like, I can get help there. And so at some point, when I let go of the fear of judgment, the fear of fear, then I can move into this place of grace and honor and truth, which is, we can't do this alone. We can't do this alone.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad, you allowed yourself to process it, and that you're here today, right? Because it's so important that if I hadn't decided to start a podcast, none of this, we wouldn't be on this call. None of this would be happening, right? I just decided one day I'm going to start telling my story, and I'm going to start talking to people who want to share their story. And what's happened over the last 6 years is nothing short of a miracle, right? So you can never underestimate the power of your own voice and your own story. It carries tremendous weight. Jessica's story on here today is a mind blower, right? And the timing is impeccable, The timing couldn't have been more perfect than what the topic was all about. It was, love and joy, and how we can deviate from there just because of the weight of how heavy life can be. But ultimately, all these emotions, they're there to guide us, protect us, teach us. That's what they're there to do. And then once we're able to learn what it is that we need to learn, like Jessica did, now she's just going to go out there and go, this is what my dad taught me. I'm going to carry his legacy through. I mean, what could be more powerful than that? Nothing. Love and joy, people. Love and joy. All right. Let's close this up. Merry Christmas, everyone. Right. We'll see you next week right before New Year's. I love you all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Good stuff.